to do it, Barry. We're going to get a bill passed this year, right? All right. And what a great way to celebrate our birth. This organization was born in Washington, D.C. We're going back there, and next year's conference, that's right. D.C.'s in the house. And it's our 25th anniversary. And it's going to be a great conference, though James told me it might be a little too cold for golf, but we'll see. We'll figure it out. Maybe they have some indoor golf. Organizational partnerships. We have more organizational partnerships, and it runs deeper than we ever had before. We're going to continue to strengthen those partnerships, but we're going to go on to new and different frontiers, to basically develop more partnerships with organizations we should be working with. We have existing reciprocity agreements where we attend the conferences of and work closely with the TLPA, now the Taxi Research Network, Dr. Mundy and the AGTA, the Airport Ground Transportation Association, the NLA, National Limousine Association, which has fallen off the radar screen, Barry. I think we need to get them to pay more attention to us. And of course, Jim Peters and the Responsible Hospitality Institute. We are also going to form and seek to form new relationships with the American Public Transit Association, the University Transportation Research Centers. Dr. Kamga is here from Region 2, from my university, and we want to go around to every university center and get them to become members and get students to become members. We now have an academic I don't know if we announced this last year, an academic membership rate, which is cheaper for students and for universities. We want to get them more involved. And also the Transportation Research Board, where we're going to be going to and playing a role. I know Mr. Millar is on the executive committee there. In terms of reciprocity, I want to talk very briefly about our 2013 conference. It's going to be in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm pleased to announce that Dr. Mundy and the AGTA is going to be partnering, pending board approval next week, with the IATR on its first ever joint conference. Okay, the hometown of Dr. Mundy, AGTA and IATR are going to have a conference together. We're going to present the findings of the airport quasi-taxi regulator study, and we're going to have probably the largest conference we ever had, with airport regulators and IATR regulators side by side, talking about what they do and how they can work better together. I want to talk about two more things quickly. Our global expansion plan. Okay, we are going to have we have a membership and outreach plan that the board approved that includes our first ever European conference. We're going to be partnering with the Taxi Research Network, Dr. Cooper and Dr. Mundy, and also Wim Faber from Brussels, to go to Amsterdam on December 2nd with the Taxi Research Network, and we're going to build that into, because the problem is that our European regulators can't get approval to come here, so we're going to go there. If anyone's interested in joining us, we're going to have a delegation, and then we're going to have to draw straws for that, I think. We'll leave it at that. What happens in Amsterdam stays there. The academic community. We are going to do outreach to sign up universities as members and students as members. We've created this new membership category, as I mentioned. Associate members. With our research agenda, we're going to be actively reaching out to people we haven't dealt with before. Bus companies, paratransit companies, insurance companies, convention and visitors bureaus, business improvement districts, etc. And I'm pleased to announce that we have a number of new programs and member benefits that are going to help our members increase their interest and keep them coming back. Number one, we're going to continue Karen's very popular news snippets, enhance them even more. We're also going to continue writing columns talking about the travels of our members and myself and the things that we're doing. We're also going to be having more webinars. We had 3 very successful webinars this year, which I promised last year, and we're going to continue on in that vein. We had one with Christian Hayashi from San Francisco talking about part-time plates or medallions. We had a nightlife webinar with Jim Peters, and we're going to deal with a lot of the subject matter that was covered there in day 3 on nightlife transportation. And also, Karen held a very, with James, I believe, a very successful webinar on the harmonized sales tax. Now, talk about spin for a tax. In Canada, there's something called a harmonized sales tax. And it was very well attended and a very interesting, very nuts and bolts way of figuring out how this tax affects, meter rates and how the meter has to calculate it. A new program. We've had our very successful Driver of the Year program every year, which I'm proud to announce we're going to have our honorees at the function on tomorrow night. We are also going to now develop, and the board approved, a Regulator of the Year award. Okay, the benefits and nuances of that will still be defined, but every year we are going to recognize a regulator who's done outstanding work involving the reform of their jurisdictions, and to encourage regulators to make such outstanding efforts to make you look good with your mayors and your cities and your supervisors, and also to make sure that we promote and recognize people that are doing a great job, and they're out here. Everybody's doing a great job, you know, but we need to take, just like the TLPA has the Operator of the Year, we're going to have the Regulator of the Year. We are also, now that we're doing well financially, you know, our plan is to create a subsidy fund. We have regulators who have been coming for years, and because the government's now cash-strapped, we want to make sure that we have some type of system to pay for you to come here. Okay, we've paid for a couple of regulators to come here this year who had financial situations, and we're going to do so and set really concrete standards for doing that. Can't get everybody a free ride, but this is something I think we owe to our members, because it's just too important, and sometimes the higher-ups and the people at these that are running the show don't realize how important it is for you and for them. We also, like I said, going to have proactive support, legislative support for our members. We're going to have resources. We're going to be working on eventually a fact book. We need our own fact book. We don't need the industry's fact book. We need our own regulator fact book that we can rely on. We don't need consultants doing them. Maybe we can work with them on it, but we need to endorse our own fact book and our own studies and policy papers. Okay, we've only been doing surveys. We need to release a paper on, let's say, our approach and our endorsement on what the credit card surcharges might be. We need to pick a topic and get it out there, and we need to help you. I got in a little trouble helping my friend from Philadelphia, got my head handed to me by the industry, but you know what? We came to bat for Jim in Philadelphia when he was under attack, you know, and trying to eliminate his agency and send it to the state. Almost had a fist fight with some Philadelphia limousine people, which was scary. But we're there for you, whether it's writing an op-ed, writing a letter. Don't forget and underestimate the power of the IATR. We haven't even begun to lobby with Barry yet, but we are going to make a difference. And I'll tell you why, how powerful we could be. The RIDE Act, where Barry and I first met, we got the RIDE Act passed, right? When I first met Barry, and he'll tell you the whole sordid story this morning, one letter stopped that act in its tracks, in my opinion. It wasn't just New York, because they didn't really like New York when I went there in Congress. It was Diane Sibley's letter from the IATR that the board approved saying this is bad policy. Okay, that letter carried a lot of weight, and it was a single letter. Could you imagine what's going to happen when we show up in every office of everyone on the Transportation Committee? Okay, it's going to be a sight to see. Peer review. Now, this I don't want the consultants not to talk to me ever again. And don't get mad at me. But the IATR board has approved the IATR becoming a consultant for your governments. So what that means is, if you have a bid, we'll bid on it. If you're not having a bid, we'll help you. But what that means is, you know, the private consultants out there do a great job, but you need a group that can do peer review, that one that can do basically a review of the best practices. We have all the information. Karen's got it. Why not have a group like IATR standing behind your reforms? The press wants to beat you up for doing a fare increase. You know, you can have them beat up a private consultant, but wouldn't it be good to beat up the IATR? It adds a lot of credibility to you, and you know, we wouldn't be doing it alone, obviously. You know, we need economists, and so we'd be working with and partnering with various consultants that are out there already. But why not make the IATR part of the mix? That will help us. If you're going to give consulting money out to do these things, why not give it to the IATR? Because then we can get our full-time staff, and we can help you. Okay? Just something to mention, to be further defined, but we are now going to be peer review consultants, and we're offering our services for hire. We're also going to be coming up with a new a la carte menu that Karen's going to further define. Not everybody wants everything from, all the benefits of the IATR. We're going to, I think, define different categories. We're going to have a category that's going to have just, very simple library newsletter, organizational categories where you can have multiple members for your organization with other benefits like unlimited staff being part of the group for just a single price, but also us going above and beyond with the surveys. We can't, unfortunately, with our limited resources, do that anymore. Not every person who calls can we now drop everything and have Karen spend and myself spend hundreds of hours of our time doing this for free. All right. I think we estimated Karen did about $60,000 to $70,000 of her time was donated. I donated about $250,000 to this organization through my time, my staff's time, and resources. So we believe in this group, but we can't do that forever. That's why the 3-year plan is to get this group self-sustainable with a full-time executive director and staff. And the way we're going to do that is if you consider us for peer review, and also that we have to maybe charge a little bit more for doing some of these surveys, if, in terms of a membership rate. If that doesn't go over well, we'll revisit it. And then, of course, we'll have premium membership where we may be giving out fact books and stuff like that. We'll announce that. The BlackBerry Messenger. This is something that James and Karen have thought of, and I think it's a great idea. We're going to have a BBM group so that if you're testifying before the City Council and you have a quick question and a regulator is in distress, you can put out an SOS and get a text message to answer a question. Well, how was it done in Houston? I don't know. Okay, boom, you got your answer. That's, with our theme of technology, that's very, very important. The last point I want to make in terms of new directions, as I think this is not just and I hope everybody's enjoying the conference. It's a little bit more laid back this year in terms of we have a lot, but we've spaced it out. I don't feel like we're rushed so far, but most importantly, we need to have fun. Okay, we're going to do new and different things. We tried golf this year. We had a couple of first-timers, regulators. Nobody got hurt, thankfully. We're going to have better entertainment. I hope you enjoyed the entertainment. We're going to have even more fun. If you missed it last night, we had rocking regulators. Some who I had no idea played, like Miss Hayashi from San Francisco has a great voice, and Tom Driscoll and myself. But I think we have some other talent out there. We're going to tap into you. But the most important thing is that people were up and dancing last night and having fun. Let's not make this be a dry thing. Life is short. Let's enjoy it. Regulatory life is short. The lifespan of regulators in certain cities more than others is shorter than others, right? And also, talking about fun, my last point, I'm pleased to announce our past president, thankfully, is now reforming New Orleans. Malachi, why don't we give you a round of applause for your efforts? Our 2014 host, we are going to the city of New Orleans in 2014. We're going to have a great time. And that's basically it.